First, Community and Police Relations. Assuming that's different?
Yes, it is. Still. Had an excellent meeting last time in which a lot of discussion about core values, a lot of discussion about gaps in understanding and communication, a lot of discussion about things that no one knows about, because we've lived with a culture of the least information possible, and that is very detrimental to a lot of the work that community does, a lot of the work that police do. So we're trying to discover, is it possible to impact that culture, which is so protective, and try to demonstrate that the more open the flow of information is to community, the more possibilities there are for changing one another's understanding about the other. So that's one of the things that we discussed. We also discussed what is the role of the committee vis-a-vis the chief's racial profiling plan. Originally, we were asked to serve as facilitators for the what they weren't hearings, what were the
community
forums, which we did, and we were glad we were able to provide that function. But as we are now proceeding into the future, what will be our relationship to the chief, to the committee that's working on behalf of the Bureau in the issues of racial profiling? So there's a lot of good discussion about that, particularly since the ordinance, and we rediscovered this at our retreat, the ordinance is very clear that the racial profiling agenda is ours. That was, you didn't have to have a retreat to determine that racial profiling was going to be a commission response. It is ours. I mean, it's a given. So how does that factor in with all of the other strategies that we're building? How does that work out in terms of our resources? How does that work out in terms of our focus? So those are the kind of conversations that we're starting to have. Another thing that we discovered, over and over, the community lets us know that hardly anybody knows, first of all, that there's a commission, let alone that there's a committee on community and police relationships. So, who's responsible for that? Well, we decided we'd start with the core. There are, how many people in the committee? 13 members of the committee. We did a little audit about the organizations that we were relating to. We discovered, whoa, we're in direct link with a whole lot of folk in this community. It is insane that anyone can say, we never heard of it. That means we've not been doing our job. We've not been doing our job. So we're going to see if we can make, as part of the accountability for that committee, is the responsibility of outreach into those communities with which we have contact. For months we've been saying, well, the police don't do a good enough job of communicating. And they don't. But then, neither do we. So somehow we've got to build, and the question that was brought from the Commissioner Fritz, is a real basic one. How in the world do we get input in to community? It's a very critical one. So we're going to see if by accepting that accountability for ourselves, we can start demonstrating a much more powerful impact in and out of communities. One of the simple things that we decided in terms of an evaluation for our committee work is to be be more integrated in the simple way that we sit. This came to mind in the retreat in which the commissioner sat on this side and the staff sat on that side. Thought we were going to play volleyball. So
not in bikinis, right?
With the police, they usually sit right over there, and then we sort of sit over here. So it was the police officer who suggested, hey, mix this up so that it's not so obvious that it's us and them. Now, simple things like that. We've done a really good job of integrating, again, by ordinance, the partnership of police and communities and the commission. Again, no choice. The ordinance is very clear. We're going to work with the police. They're going to have to work with us. So we've done a good job of developing an ambiance for that, a setting for that, in which there are certain parameters of understanding how we're going to relate to one another and what it means to be civil and civic responsibilities there. So we're also trying to prepare ourselves for the moment, and it's going to be coming, when there will be such a critical issue on the table that it's going to test all of that wonderful work that we've done, all of that relational growth that we've built, all of the understanding that we have with each other. So we're trying to prepare ourselves. How are we going to respond to that moment when it becomes such a critical issue that, wow, everybody's backs are going to be against the wall? That's kind of the work that we're doing. We keep getting excellent reports from the Police Bureau about the racial profiling process, about all sorts of things that are pertinent to our work. And that's very helpful. And I hope you read the minutes of the committee and also ask for some of the materials that are developed for the committee, because they're probably even more helpful than that. Things are going well. We're starting to really focus on some gaps that exist between police and community and responding to how can we address those in a way that enhances the community and police relationship.